Good afternoon guys and welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Garforth on the mid-handicap break 80 series. This is a hole that Dave mentioned to me before we'd even started on the first, as it was a pig of a hole. We love saying that term, and he is here, he's not. It's a card wrecker or card breaker, as Dave says. Stroking next heaven, so Dave gets a shot. So we're going to see, it's a dog leg round to the right, so it's a great looking hole. But Dave needs to think about how he's going to play this. Again, no bunkers on there, so Dave says it's a card breaker, so we've got to see what Dave is doing drastically wrong to let this ruin his round.
Well, the problem is, Chris, there's a ditch or a beck that runs all the way down the right hand side of this hole. It's like a magnet to golf balls.
It's a magnet to golf balls is the beck. So Dave's going to get on the right hand side of this tee box. We're going to aim up the left. See in the distance there's a black and white stake. Dave's going to be aiming at that. If it does leak a little bit right, we should just be in the right rough and we shouldn't be breaking his card or wrecking his card here. 2 under so far. Bogey last week on the par 3 that we've just played, a short par 3, so a classic mid-handicap error there of shorts. But here we want to take advantage. Get those shoulders square. Commit to your shot. And that's a great ball. Up the left hand side, just turning a little bit. That should be fine. There's a little bit of a gap over there as I can see, and I did see it bounce. So you will see guys that this is not the longest of par 5, so for it to be a card wrecker there's got to be something going on here. Like Dave says, there is a beck down this right hand side that likes to find golf balls. But if that's the case, you maybe want to play something like a hybrid off the tee. You could play a 4 hybrid into this area here. You don't reach the ditch that is on the left, you don't reach the trouble on the right, and then you play for the corner. So it's plotting your way around. If it's a hole that you struggle on, it's narrower the further you go. So if you're somebody who hits a longer ball with a driver, if you do tend to have a fade, you are bringing in those trees. If you then aim down the left and you pull it, you're bringing in the ditch. But if you're in this area where we're just walking with something like a hybrid, we've then all got to hit something 150, 160 yards to the corner, and then we can easily reach the green and save you shots. So Dave's hit a great tee shot down here. Because of the conditions, it stopped just short of the bet. I did see it bounce. I did think it was further, but obviously not. Dave's as disappointed as I am. But in the summer there, guys, like we said, you know, you might hear a hybrid. In the summer, Dave might actually use a 3-wood off this tee, because it can run down into this ditch on the left-hand side. And then up the right, like I say, this is the narrowest point. So between this ditch and the trees there on the right is the narrowest point. So that's where you want to avoid. If you're a longer hitter, you might go further and go past, but I can see there is out of bounds there. Other than that, it's a very easy hole. But again, there's always the option, the fattest part of the fairway is back there, and you will still be able to reach in 3 shots, even if you slightly miss-hit one. So from here, Dave is going to try and get down to this hole. We know that it does dogleg to the right. We need to think about, is there any overhanging trees for Dave? No, he's pretty clear. So where the head greenkeeper is, just there on his buggy, as we see, we can go just left of him. We don't need to try and take on the corner too much. We just want to leave ourselves a pitch shot in. So Dave's going for his 4 hybrid. Again, think about this, guys. In the winter, you need to assess your lie before you go with a hybrid. If that was sat down in some thicker rough, we wouldn't potentially be using this club and we would be going with an iron. But because it's sat nicely, Dave's going to be able to use his 4 hybrid here. And we're going to be able to get down there and have a reasonable shot into the green.
Yeah, so the copper beach that you can see, the small copper beach, that's generally the line. That leaves probably somewhere between 100 and 120 yards, depending on how good the shot is. Okay,
so we should be leaving ourselves with potentially 120 yards, maybe a little bit further, because it's not going to run as far. Again, guys, think about your winter conditions. The ball's not going to travel as far. It's also not going to carry as far. So know your numbers. I know that is a theme of the last couple of weeks, but I can't emphasize that enough. You need to make sure that you know your carry numbers, not your totals. Although you need to know your totals as well. So it's a pretty good shot from Dave. Straight on that line. That is absolutely fine. So yes guys, know your carries, know your totals as well, but the carries are key in winter, even more so than they probably are in the summer. Right, so you can see the dew on the ground from Dave's trolley tracks and our steps, but Dave's hit a good shot down there with his 4 hybrids, so he's got it to 124 yards left to the flag. So the pin's right at the front, so from here for Dave, he's going to go with his
8 iron, I think.
8 iron.
The pin's right at the front, so I'd rather be just along with the pin if possible.
Yeah, so the pin's right at the front, so Dave's there saying if he goes past, he's more comfortable going past and putting back towards the hole than being short and potentially chipping. So 8 iron, it's going to be a controlled 8 iron. One thing for Dave to watch as we've walked round, he did miss it a couple of irons and that ball position is creeping ever so slightly forwards, which means his contact is going. The club is past its low point, it's a little bit slappy and it's not his best and not getting the distance. So we're going to have a quick check of that here when Dave takes his setup, and then I'll run round for down the line. So that's much better there now. Again for Dave, a good motion and a much more solid strike. So that's just on the front edge there, that's just on the green. It looks like he'll have an uphill putt. We can't see the ball just over that ridge. But from there, Dave's got a better strike, giving himself a chance, and it's just little things at setup, guys, that you need to check. Your routine, make sure you're getting the ball position right, and you'll be able to hit much more solid shots. So just reached there. So a little bit short of the flag, but it was one. Dave, he took probably a little bit too much off that. The strike wasn't bad, but it's one of those when you're flighting it down, Dave took a little bit too much off. But we're on the putting surface. Again, Dave gets a shot here, so we're on the green in 3, 2 putts, and we're going to get him back. And we're going to get him back under, or further under par. Currently 2 under his handicap after the bogey last week. So let's try and get 2 putts here. Let's get out of this hole. Stroke index 7, one that Dave fears week in, week out. And get him moving back towards the right direction. So it was a great putt on line, just a couple of feet short, so Dave's going to take his time on this one. You could see there he did want to just go up and try and tap that in.
I did, until you said he's going to take his time.
And that's a classic there. So Dave would have gone up, tried to just tap that in, maybe missed. Only out of here with a par, and there's still some difficult holes to come. Yeah, they do say that this back 9, or the back couple of holes, is one of the hardest finishers in Yorkshire. That's what Dave's telling me, it's any excuse for how he finishes. Peter Alice was the man who said that. Again, Dave hitting us with Garforth facts. Took his time, made sure, and that's out of there with a 5. And we move on to the next hole, so we move on to the 14th through those trees, guys. 3 under par. Can we break 80?